as a part of the series of lectures on economics of various types of intellectual property rights. This particular lecture is on the economics involved in trade secrets. So, if we have to basically see the general meaning of trade secrets, it refers to any confidential business information. It may be a formula, it may be a process, it may be a design, it may be a pattern, it may be an instrument, commercial method or compilation of methods, and such formula, process, design, commercial method, patterns, instruments, compilation of methods are providing an enterprise a competitive edge in business. So, the 20th century witnessed two broader revolutions. One of the major revolution which we are seeing today is in the form of technological advancement, and the second is the globalization of economic activity, globalization of production, globalization of consumption. We are finding that more faster speed of consumption and production and going on due to the technological advancement, and a fast set of information technology enabled services are on the way, and we cannot say that we live in a traditional set of technological tools and the old ways of production and consumption. So, these two agents have the conflicting impact on trade secrets, because there is a cutthroat competition in the world today. A firm who is really in the leading position, they want to sustain their leadership in the market, and trade secrets helps them to continue their leadership. But there are other firms also, and they are also ready to somehow pirate those secrets from that business identity, and they also wish to jump into the market or to acquire the market and to share the market in a much bigger way. So, in fact, we are finding that there are two different types of firms. One who wish to protect the trade secrets, and another firms are also busy to really pirate the secrecy of certain firms, and they want to really lead the market, grab the opportunity available in the market as a producer and supplier. So, what are the legal requirements to have the trade secrets? The foremost requirement to be a trade secret is that the information must be undisclosed. Compared to patent and compared to copyright, compared to trademark, in all these three cases we have to disclose the intellectual property. In patent also we have to first disclose the information before the patent office will award the patent. You have to have the proper disclosure of the information, what you have done, how you have done. In copyright also, only after the disclosing the material or written material or the music or maybe the art, you are having the copyright on that. In trademark also, without putting the mark, without registering the trademark, without disclosing the trademark, one cannot have a legal right to protect that particular trademark. But compared to all these three types of intellectual property, this particular intellectual property, which is trade secret, is different from others, because here you do not have to disclose any information, but you have to undisclose the information. information must not be disclosed. So, because it has a commercial value and trade secrets are not really those secrets which has no commercial value. Finally, trade secrets are important only for the commercial purpose, commercial value is inbuilt in those trade secrets. So, the owner of trade secrets necessarily have taken reasonable caution to remain its secret. So, a firm if a firm is really wish to keep trade secrets, they are not supposed to really leak or really share or really have a very less precautions to retain those informations with them. So, these are the requirements, and these requirements are legal in nature, because the moment your informations are shared, you cannot say that this was our trade secrets. So, the prime important point of such trade secrets are to have undisclosed information. So, there are issues in trade secrets. One of the important point is the non-disclosure agreement, non-compete agreement, infringement and enforcement. So, the first point, which is the non-disclosure agreements, in order to protect the trade secrets and other confidential information, company go through non-disclosure or confidentiality agreements with the person who holds the trade secrets of that particular enterprises. So, suppose a firm is trying to, suppose a firm is a firm name is Q, and if the firm is trying to retain the information trade secret for the business purpose, this particular firm will try to share that trade secrets with one of the employee. So, this particular employee, suppose this particular employee Peter is appointed to keep that secrecy. The firm Q pay for Peter to keep that undisclosed information with him. So, it is the responsibility of, it is not only the responsibility of the Peter, but it is also the responsibility of this particular firm to maintain the secrecy. So, it is based on the mutual understanding between the Q and the Peter. The firm Q and the person Peter, Mr. Peter is responsible to keep the information secret. So, there are two major issues required to be considered here. First is the consideration of the value of the disclosed information, and the duration of non-disclosure and restricted use of the trade secrets that one must be willing to be considered. So, because as we have mentioned that there is a business value involved in trade secrets. So, the value of that business should not be disclosed, that information should not be disclosed, and it should not be disclosed ever, because non-disclosure in trade secrets are linked with the future of the product or the future of the firm. The moment secrets are disclosed, the future of the firm in the current market scenario or in that market scenario will be really down. So, the restricted use of trade secrets that one must be willing to be considered in that non-disclosure agreements, it is one of the important point to understand. The second point is non-compete agreements. Under the non-compete agreements, one party, for example, one party is Mr. Peter and another party is Mr. Q, the firm, So, the party which is the employee and Q which is the employer, they are having this agreement. The employee is giving the consent that it is not going to engage or to initiate a related business, similar business, or they are not going to compete with the other party which is typically the employer. So, first is not to disclose the information, the second is not to compete with the employer. So, this is the second important agreement which is related to the trade secrets. So, the agreement has dual benefits. On one side it controls the employees from leaving the job, and on the other side protects the confidential information from the disclosure and the safeguards the trade secrets. So, this prevents employee from revealing the classified business information or trade secrets to the competitors. So, but we see that like other intellectual property rights such as patent or trademark and copyright, even if these intellectual property are not really disclosed, even if these properties are disclosed and trade secrets are not disclosed, through reverse engineering, which is one of the authorized method of duplicating a technology that comes with an existing product and work in reverse direction, or employee poaching, which is the process that involves hiding from the rival firms, corporations frequently try to explore rival firms' trade secrets. So, trade secrets are again facing attacks by the rival firms. Trade secrets of a firm is facing the attacks by the rival firms through two different ways. One of the way is the reverse engineering, trying to explore all possibility to find out how the product was developed, and through the employee poaching, the process that involves hiding from the rival firms. The companies also resort to potentially illegal methods to discover competitors' trade secrets, including industrial espionage, theft of trade secrets through hidden and illegal practice of spying competitors to achieve a commercial advantage. So, three different ways: reverse engineering, employees poaching, and industrial espionage. These are three different ways to get the secret informations out from the firm, and these are the ways of infringing the one of the intellectual property which firms are keeping secrets for their benefits in the market. So, the legal protection against stealing and misappropriation is granted to the information which qualify as a trade secrets, conditioned that the owner has appropriated the essential steps to safeguard the confidentiality. So, more you are having the safeguards, precautions, you are able to have the confidential or the secret information secure with the firms. So, misappropriation is the obtaining of trade secrets through inappropriate means, as we have seen in three different methods that the firms, other firms are or the rival firms are trying to get certain way out to get the information from the firms which is really having a big name in the market and big market share. Accordingly, if trade secret is obtained through industrial espionage, the acquirer is liable to legal action and harsh penalty. So, what are basically the advantage of protecting the trade secrets? First thing is, for trade secrets like trademark or like patent, there isn't any cost involved in registration. Like in trademark, we have to have a cost involved in registration, or in patent we have to have a cost involved in getting the patent granted, and it is not limited right that is constrained by time period. Like in patent we have a limited time period for getting the rights. In case of trade secrets, you again firms are having unlimited time to really get the benefit out of maintaining the trade secrecy. Because trade secrets, the moment you are protecting the trade secrets, you have instant benefit, or the moment the trade secrets are being pirated, the other firms are having instant benefits. So, the registration with the government is not required in case of trade secrecy, because not the disclosure of the confidentiality is needed, and neither you have to have any required information registered with the government. But apart from no registration cost and no fixed time period involved, there are competitive advantage from the protecting of the trade secrets. But there are certain problems associated with the protection of the trade secrets. One of the problem is reverse engineering, which poses threat to the protection of trade secrets. When the secret is embodied in a product, we have seen that the firms are ready to really have the reverse engineering process adopted, and also trade secret protection is not awarded if it is publicly revealed. If a person is if the person who is really having the trade secrets, if they are publicly revealing those information to the party, then trade secret protection is not awarded, not really having any value, not really having any protection at all. The moment it is out, the public is knowing the fact, or the other firms are knowing the fact that what type of formula or steps were maintained by the other firms. So, the trade secret is subject to inappropriate attainment and use or disclosure of the secret information if the discloser is ready to disclose the secret information by any inappropriate means. Trade secret protection is not so easy to have. So, trade secret protection is weaker than the patent protection or the trademark protection, because here you do not have to disclose any information, you have to basically maintain the undisclosed information with you, and that is the most challenging and really very hard task for the firms to believe a person who is really keeping that trade secrets in a locker. For many firms, those secrets are kept in a bank and in a safe locker, and the person who is really keeping that trade secrets are not allowed to really fly with other workers, other employee of those firms. They are being kept detached from the entire circle, and like patent, it is not like in case of patent, if somebody is really coming out with a similar product, the patent owner has the right to challenge them. Here in case of trade secrets, the moment the trade secrets are out, by any means you have a sudden fall in your market size, you have a complete disincentive, instant disincentive, because firms are really ready to capture the ready to capture the market which you are really having it. So, in a recent case in the later half of 2014, the court case was instigated by health software company Epic System in the district court at Wisconsin in the United States. Tata Consultancy Service and Tata America International Corporation were charged of blatant theft of trade secrets, secret informations, text, credentials and data by the Epic System. The Epic System accused the Tata Consultancy Services for utilizing some of the classified codes to set up Made Mantra, a competitive software product for hospital management system. Nevertheless, the lawsuit was more concentrated on how a Tata Consultancy Service worker illegitimately assessed the user wave, the internal records database of the Epic System, and less about whether the Made Mantra was created with inputs from Epic System or not. The Tata Consultancy Service was found guilty of the infringement of trade secrets by the United States grand jury. 2 fines were imposed on the TCS company and its American arms. A total of $940 million of fine was imposed to the Tata Consultancy Service, for which $240 million was to be paid to the Epic System in damages and an additional $700 million for penalizing damages. Now, Tata Consultancy Service is claiming that TCS is denying the infringement of IP and said that it will go for an appeal. The jury verdict on responsibility and damages was unanticipated by the Tata Consultancy, but it also said that it respects the legal process. The Tata Consultancy Service next course of action will be to forcefully challenge the jury's verdict into the higher courts through appeal. So, trade secrets protection is more weaker than any other intellectual property protection, as the entire secrecy is in the hand of one person or maybe in the hand of 2 persons. Non-disclosure agreements and non-compete agreements are the potential ways to protect trade secrets. These are two major forcible agreements which basically restrict the information with the person who is holding the trade secrets. However, infringement persists through illegal industrial espionage, as we have seen that there are ways to infringe the trade secrets, and as we see today that the global business is growing, multinational corporations business is growing very fast, and world is shrinking its distance due to the help of information technology and other electronic tools. So, what we find here that trade secrets became more important today compared to past, because the moment trade secrets are being disclosed by the person who holds this type of secret information, the other firms enjoy the benefit of a market without working on a very different set of experiments and a very different set of exercise which is needed to really acquire a trade secrets for the benefit and for the growth of a firm. So, one is already having a very ready-made set of formula or very ready-made set of secrets, very ready-made set of solutions to grab the business if somebody is really infringing the trade secrets of a firm. So, I think the entire discussion must give you some differences from the past discussion which we have on the economics of patents, copyright and trademark, because in other intellectual property rights we have seen that disclosure is the first step to acquire the intellectual property, while in case of trade secrets the undisclosed information is the key to maintain the trade secrets. Maybe one more lecture on economics of industrial design will help you to again understand the entire economics of intellectual property rights. Thank you.